Hi, and welcome again to this second attempt to do a live today. The first one, for any of you who were on before, just actually the signal died and I lost you completely. So if you're watching this, whether you're live or whether you're watching on catch up, please do leave a comment. It makes such a difference to how many people see these things if you leave a comment. Obviously, if you think I'm talking nonsense and you don't want anyone else to see it, then don't leave a comment. That's absolutely fine. But if you like it, if you feel that there's been anything in it that's helped you, then please leave a comment, even if it's just to say hi, because it will make a difference to the algorithm. I can see there are 3 people on at the moment, including my mother. Hello, hello, Mum. Today I'm going to talk to you about connection, because really the reason They Shall Laugh and Sing exists in the first place. Hi, Di. The reason They Shall Laugh and Sing exists in the first place is because I believe that we don't communicate well enough with each other as a race. There were these awful stabbings yesterday in Golders Green, and then the blame afterwards, and watching Question Time last night on the BBC, seeing people trying to blame each other and gain position from the fact that this awful thing had happened. And what it comes down to is the fact that people are a little bit terrified of each other. People are scared of anything that's different and don't have the connection with each other that ultimately would solve these things and stop them happening. Now, you may think, how can I affect that? And especially with coming from someone who's talking about running choirs and singing, how can we affect that? Well, you have a massive role to play in that, because when we're in any group of people, the way we show up affects the people around you. If you show up in a really nice way, you're complimentary to people, you're positive, you make them feel better. And as they go about their interactions with other people, they will be affected by that and make them feel better. And that spreads really quickly. And if we get into a situation where somebody has been affected by something good you say, and that has a knock-on effect to everybody, very soon society could be very, very different. And it basically means stepping outside of our comfort zone a little bit. When I was in Germany, I used to sometimes watch an American preacher called Joyce Meyer. And she was an incredible speaker. She was really great. But she said she finds it really difficult to compliment people. And she said, I would notice someone was wearing a really nice jumper and then not say anything, because I just was afraid of complimenting them. And she said, now I make myself do it. And the change that makes to people, the change it makes to how they feel, even the smallest thing will affect their day. And that tiny ripple effect will have a massive effect on people going onwards. So one of the things we tried in They Shall Laugh and Sing last year at the Malvern Festival was we started each day with a gratitude exercise. People would go up to someone they didn't know and tell them about something that they were grateful for. Now that immediately creates a connection, because very often the things that we're grateful for are very personal. And even if they're not, you're creating a connection by saying, this is something I like. And you're letting people know a little bit about you. And that can be so important, even though we're a little bit shy about it. We're often shy about talking to new people. You look at any choir, and in most cases, people will go and sit next to the people that they've sat next to every single week since the dawn of time, or since they joined the choir. And that, instead of creating a connection, which is what a choir should be about, ends up with us separating ourselves within a group. One of the other things we tried at Malvern last year was a sticker system. which is a sort of proxy compliment system. If somebody, and it had to be someone that you didn't come with and that you don't know particularly, if someone had sung in a way, or you noticed them singing in a way which made you smile or inspired you, or you thought was energetic or good in some way, you simply went and got a sticker and stuck it on them. And it sounds like such a childish thing, but the good feeling and the bonding that that created, because people felt noticed. Ultimately, everybody wants to feel noticed. And it's through that that we not only create this connection with the rest of the human race, but we connect in such a way as we achieve much, much more. I have, as many of you know, a lovely church choir in Bledlow. Bledlow is a tiny village in Buckinghamshire. It has a church, a pub, and a not huge number of houses. And there's literally nothing else there. There's no shop, nothing like that. And we have this group of people in our choir, many of whom don't read music, and most of whom would never consider auditioning for a choir. It's completely unauditioned, and it's a real mix of abilities. But they work together as a community. Because it's based around the village, there is a community feel to it. But when someone comes in, they're very good at making them feel included. And they really work for each other. And so, even though it's only a tiny parish, and it's the most unlikely place to find this sort of thing, we have this choir that pulls together all their mixed abilities and all their, the wrong word, but disabilities, their musical inadequacies, and pull them together and create something really rather marvellous, which actually enables them to sing services at places like, well, we're going back to St. Paul's Cathedral later this year to sing Evensong. We're going to St. George's Chapel, Windsor. And one of the things that I noticed was a couple of weeks ago, we sang the weekend services in Sherborne Abbey, which was lovely, joyful experience. And I noticed that we all went out to dinner on the Saturday night, and the act of getting together and not necessarily sitting with the people that you'd want to sit next to or would expect to sit next to, these connections that are being created and conversations that are being had and getting to know each other makes such a huge difference. So where do I want to go with this? We're none of us very good, or very few of us are very good at complimenting people. In fact, we're often scared of the people that we think are better than us. And ironically, most of the time, those people would be quite surprised to think that someone thought they were good. I remember when I was singing with the Royal School of Church Music in the Cathedral Singers, there was a tenor there who just sang, as far as I was concerned, absolutely sublimely. It was a really, really beautiful sound. And I was always nervous to talk to him. And then one day on a course, we just happened to be in the pub, and I got chatting to him a bit, and I actually said to him, I'm always a bit nervous to talk to you because you're so good. And he was just very, very surprised. And the lovely thing for me was that last year we did a special service at St. Paul's Cathedral with Cantamus Cum Spiritu, my advanced wing of They Shall Laugh and Sing. And we did this wonderful setting of the Magnificat and Nunc Dimittis by Martin Howe, who had run the Royal School of Church Music Cathedral Singers. And I was able to invite a few of the singers from those days to sing this piece. And that guy was on it. And I was just able to say to him, you were such an inspiration to me throughout my early singing life, because your voice and the way you sung was so beautiful. And for me, that was great. And I know that made him feel better. And all those people who received stickers from strangers at Malvern last year, they felt better. And we can all do this. You know, the reason I've called this something for the weekend is I think if we think about this over the weekend, every person you meet, find something that you can compliment them about. Anything. It can be the colour of their shirt. It can be a hat they're wearing. It can be the way they smile. It can be absolutely anything. But find something that you can compliment about them. And if you do that, you're going to make their day feel a bit better. When you next go to choir, look for someone that you've never spoken to before and go and see if there's something that you can compliment them on. Tell them something that they're doing really well. As a choir leader, it's funny, you stand out the front, and very often people expect choir leaders to be grumpy, and I try and make a point of not being grumpy. And the reason choir leaders get grumpy is because when singers detach themselves from them, when they don't take notice, when they start talking, or when they don't appear to be trying to do the things that the choir leader is asking for, the choir leader naturally assumes that those people just don't think they're very good. And that they don't think they're worth taking notice of. And that tends to wind people up quite a lot. So you have an effect on your choir leader. And I try, from where I'm standing, to look out to people in the choir and see things that they're doing and see improvements that they're making and compliment them on them. You know, if you've got someone who's making much more of an effort, then it's worth telling them, because it confirms to them that they're on the right path and they start to get better at it. If you go to the person that you think is doing well in your choir and you say to them, really loved what you're doing there, or you look so engaged, or you look so happy when you sing, they will do more of it. And the thing is, the things that you notice in other people are the things that you desire yourself. That's why you notice them, because you desire those things. When you see someone who's able to chat to anyone, the reason you're either intimidated by it or grateful for it sometimes is because that's the way you'd like to be. And the reason you'd like to be that is because you know that that's inside you. And by taking that step of going and saying something nice to someone, you're actually opening that path for yourself into being the person you want to be. I remember talking to an actress years ago who said that for her, acting is like a pie chart. And when she takes a new role, she sees the bits of her that she has in common with the character that she's going to play as a pie chart, and she uses that to expand that character into her embodiment of it, if that makes sense. And by just allowing ourselves to take that step of saying, you look really nice today, or I love the colour of your top, you make that person feel warm. They know that you don't actually have anything against them, and that you're prepared to be kind to them, and they will respond in the same way to you, and they, more importantly, will go and respond in the same way to other people, because they will know how they felt when you did that for them, and so they will do the same thing. Sean Aker, as I've said so many times in his book The Happiness Advantage, says that by doing this sort of thing, we have an influence over about 1,000 people. That's a lot of people that we can each influence. How many people would it take you to compliment for the knock-on effect to be felt by by another race, by another country. If you went to someone, for example, I used to live in Leighton for a while, or Walthamstow, and there were lots and lots of Muslim people there, and there were lots of Indian people around. And one thing I particularly find is that the fabrics that Muslim and Indian women tend to dress themselves in, particularly Indian women, tend to be so beautiful. And if you go up and say that to someone, then they're going to be complimented, and they're going to feel that a barrier has come down. If instead of, I used to live for a while in Golders Green sort of area, and there was a huge Hasidic Jewish population there, and I used to try and say hello to them all the time, because actually I felt very safe by the fact that there was this huge community around me, and I know that they don't feel safe at the moment. So how would it be if instead of looking at them and thinking, well, that's a bit strange, we actually went up and said, hello, how are you doing? Can you tell me something about you? I would love to know, for example, why they wear a prayer shawl, why they wear their hair in certain ways. I think taking an interest in that creates a connection. So by complimenting people, even when it seems unnecessary, even when we're scared about it, and by asking about people and wanting to know more about them, we can create a connection within our choirs and in our community at large, which actually will change the world. And that's what I wanted to leave you with this weekend. Challenge yourself for 2 days. I just finished a challenge. I came across a meditation by a guy called Bob Proctor, and he's a fantastic figure in the personal development line. And the challenge was, listen to this for 30 days every day. And I've just finished doing it. And you catch different things all the time. Each time you do it, you catch something new. You miss a load because in a 20-minute meditation that you're listening to, your mind wanders, but you catch something else every day, and that's the point. So over the weekend, see how many people you can make a connection with. Ask something that you're interested about. Compliment them, even if it's just on something they're wearing or the way they've handled something. When you next go to choir, talk to someone that you didn't talk to before, and you will create connections which will change our world. Have a really happy weekend. Enjoy the sun, and I'll see you soon. All the very best. Bye-bye.